Hey, welcome to my shop. This week's project, it's not going to be a restoration, but more of a cleanup. This is my 3/4 inch Craftsman Ratchet set that I got a few weeks back at a state sale auction. Maybe you saw that video, maybe not. But this is a really cool set. We're going to bring you in a little closer and show you a little more about it. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to verify that everything is here and is correct. And I've got a catalog page from the 1972, 73 catalog, I believe. And it says it's supposed to have 13 sockets, the 3/4 inch ratchet handle. It just says 2 extensions. It doesn't give the length. But there's 1 and there's 2. And all of these are the V series, which would date this to 1972 or later, because up until 72, Craftsman did not put their part numbers on their sockets and ratchets. So I looked at this earlier and everything in here is V single line, so I think this thing is 100% correct. Anyway, ratchet handle, 2 extensions. It states a 3/4 inch breaker bar and 13 sockets. And I've got 13 sockets. Let's make sure they're all the right ones. So starting with the smalls should be 1 1/16. There that is. 1 1/8. 1 1/4. Yep. 1 7/16. No. 1 5/16. 1 3/8. Yep. Now 1 7/16. 1 1/2 correct. 1 5/8. 1 11/16. Should be 1 3/4. Yep. 1 13/16. 1 7/8. V series. And 2/8. So this thing is, I'm going to say 100% original and 100% complete. So I can't remember what year the V series with a single line ran through, but I'm just going to say this thing was made in 1975. 50 years ago, for it to have survived all together in one piece is pretty cool. And that's why I paid up a little bit extra for this one. All right, first thing we got to do is get everything clean. So I'm going to put the sockets in some bags to go in the ultrasonic cleaner, but I'm going to disassemble the ratchet head first and make sure nothing in there is broken. It seems to be fine, but we'll get it cleaned and serviced too. I'm not going to really do an over restoration on anything. I'm not going to be doing a lot of wire wheeling, a lot of polishing. I just want to clean this because it is original. The teeth look good. Don't see any issues there. Yeah, there's some dried grease down in there, but it's okay. Oh, there it went. Got it. So there's the spring and the ball. Oh, and I did put all the small parts in a bag. Look at that, it's already taking the grease off. All right, while that's in the ultrasonic cleaner, I'm going to start with just some all-purpose cleaner, seeing how clean we can get this box. Try a little piece of gray pad, see if I can get a little more of this off without messing up the paint. So I'm not going to be able to get all these scratches out. I just want to get as clean as I possibly can. Okay. World of difference. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between dried on grease versus a scratch. So you just take it easy. I'm putting very little pressure on this. Big difference. Well, you can see what a little bit of elbow grease will do. I'll call this my first cleaning. It'll get clean. I'm actually going to polish it next to get some of this out. I got to clean the handle, and the handle stays up, and I'll get the latches too. But I'm going to clean most of the rest of the box off camera. I'm going to put the box off for a little bit and work on the sockets and the ratchet head. Came out ultrasonic cleaner. It got most of the old grease out. There's still a little bit left in here. I've just been picking all this out with my little dental tool here because I want to get as much of this out as I can. Give it another clean here with a stainless steel brush. I just like to dry fit everything together real quick. Make sure I don't put this together backwards. All right, so the first challenge is going to be to get the ball and the spring down in here. I'm not putting grease in this because I don't really plan on using it. But I do want to get some oil down in there to protect everything. I'm going to go put this in my vise. All right, I've got the ratchet handle in the vise here. And the way this goes together is the spring goes down in here. The ball sits on top of it. And then this piece goes in like this. So I've got this taped off in case the spring throws the ball out. If I slip off of it, hopefully I can catch it in here instead of it shooting across the shop. So the way I'm going to try and do this is I'm going to get the ball in here, and I've got this tool that's kind of been sanded down. I'm going to try and compress the ball down into the hole and hold it with this tool. And hopefully I've got enough room to slip this in. Just like that. Listen to how stiff that is. That's cool. And make sure it works. All right, the sockets came out pretty nice, as you can see. But some of them still look kind of dirty. And I like the satin look here and the polished chrome here. So I'm going to run this across the buffing wheel and just see if it makes a big difference. Well, I said I wasn't going to wire wheel or fiber wheel any of these, but this is the before polishing and this is the after. So yeah, I say it's worth the effort, and it's got my fingerprints all over it too. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these polished up. All right, got the sockets cleaned up. I'll show those to you later, but I'm going to get back on the box. Now I need to address the latches. I'm ready to move on to getting some polish on this, but before I do that, there's two areas here I want to address. One is this corner here that's been rolled over. So I want to get that bent back. And then this piece here has got a little bend in it. I'm going to see if I can straighten that. Make sure it still shuts okay. Yep, shuts better than it did. This was keeping it from shutting real good. It's crimped right down there. All right, I think I've got the setup now. The latch is in the way a little bit, but I have to deal with it. So I found a clamp that will fit. I'm just going to get it down there as far as I can, which isn't far enough, but let's see if that had any effect on it. I need to get deeper down in there. Better. Not satisfied yet. Way better than it was. Not perfect, but what I don't want to do is break this weld loose. So I think I will say done. All right, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to get some polishing compound on here to finish cleaning it. I can still see it's kind of hazy and dirty. I'm going to try this lighter polishing compound first. If it doesn't do what I want it to do, then I've got some rubbing compound here, which will cut a little deeper. That looks better. There's still some fine scratches in here. Some of it's probably from the gray pad where I was cleaning. So I'm gonna try the rubbing compound on the other side. Make sure I'm not going too deep. And then I can decide what's the best way to go. Still picking up a lot of dirt or color. Just can't see as much because of the red compound. Probably all looks about the same on camera, but in person you can definitely see a difference. So I'm going to be using the rubbing compound. All right, the final thing I'm gonna do is get a little wax on here. I like to use this McGuire's Gold. I think it's a really good wax. I love the way it smells. Well, there it is. I am really happy with how all this turned out. So, show you the, get the camera in focus here. So these are the sockets. I think they polished up really nice. They're not perfect, but again, they're probably close to 50 years old, or maybe a few years older. So yeah, I got all the sockets cleaned up. We did the ratchet head. Works really nice. It's got the quick release. I got it oiled up, serviced all the ball detents, and just cleaned everything. I didn't over restore it. You saw what I did to the box, so let's get it all put back in there. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today here in the shop and watching me clean up this old 3/4 inch Craftsman socket ratchet set. This thing's really cool. I paid a lot of money for it, but I still think I got a pretty good deal. Got it cleaned up real nice. This one I just wanted to preserve what was here because it was in such good shape, so original and complete. So I didn't see the need to strip everything down and do a bunch of unnecessary sanding and polishing on it just to make it look a little prettier. I think it looks cool the way it is. Great addition to my collection. And again, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.